Hey guys, so I wanted to create some wooden pins of one of my dad's pieces for him as a gift. Of course, I got approved by him. I decided that once I picked something to draw, I was going to trace it just to keep kind of the perspectives intact, since my dad is a very particular artist. I was like, okay, I'm going to pick this horse, and then I opened my Procreate app, and then I chose a square canvas. It didn't really matter, because once I get it into the glowforge app, I can kind of tweak the sizing, and sometimes you have to convert the files to an SVG file, which is a vector file, and Procreate is not a vector program, but this time I won't have to do that. The glowforge app only needs a vector file if you're cutting, not if you're engraving. Once I'm in my canvas in Procreate, I click on the wrench icon, which will bring up this menu here. Then I'm going to click on add and insert photo, and I'm going to bring in that photo of that screenshot that I took of my father's piece. Then I'm going to go to the lower toolbar and click on fit to canvas to kind of expand the photo a little bit more so I can look at more of the details. Then I'm going to put a layer right above that photo layer. There you go, so I can trace over it. And then the layer that has the photo, I'm going to decrease the opacity by clicking on that N there. And I'm going to bring it to half, sometimes a little bit less than half. I change that later on and you guys will see. But yes, so then I go to the layer above, and then I'm going to start tracing. And when it comes to tracing this, I just don't want to do outlines. I want to have some sort of like dynamic there. I'm going to click my Studio pen, which comes with the Procreate app, and that's like my ride or die brush. It's like a monoline, but it kind of tapers off on each end, and it's also streamlined. I'll show you how to do that later. I already have two saved settings for sizing on brushes, so I picked the lower one, and then I realized it might just be a little bit too thin, so I go back to my other save setting for brushes on Procreate, and I believe that one is the one. So then I start tracing, and what I wanted to do with this is, of course, I wanted to create outlines of the actual work, but I also wanted to create some spots where there's going to be some deep engraving. So the glowforge, whatever's black on this piece is going to be engraved. So aside from the outlines, I'm going to add some dark patches in there as well. You'll see. It's almost mimicking what he's already drawn, but not making everything outlined or making everything completely black. Also, what I meant by streamline is if you go to your brush, you click on that, and then you click on stabilization on the left side. You see that streamline amount is going to be all the way up. That makes your line really straight. And if you have like shaky hands, it's great for making your lines look streamlined. So I'm continuing to trace over my father's work. Usually I would draw this if it was something else, like a commission. I would, like from a portrait, I would draw this by looking at it. But like I mentioned before, my father is very particular about his work, and I feel like if I would have drawn it by looking at it, I would have kind of stylized it somehow with my own style. So I wanted to keep kind of the most similar looking piece that is good to engrave on the glowforge, if that makes any sense. I wouldn't have been able to just grab that photo that we have here and put it on the glowforge. There's too many different values and elements in it that are blurry, and you can't really read it. The glowforge won't be able to read it or engrave. It'll just look muddy, you know what I mean? So I wanted to just create a cleaner version of what's already there, so the glowforge doesn't have a hard time reading it for engraving it. And I also wanted to keep the kind of same perspective, so there's still some element of my dad's work in there, and tracing for me at that point was the best option, because I wouldn't my creative mind would want to kind of like stylize it in some way, and I tried to do the least amount of this as possible so it can still look like it's work. And it's a gift for him. It's not like it's going anywhere else, but yes, I also want to respect his work. I'm his daughter, so he's like, you have free will to do what you want. As an artist, I want to respect him as well. So anywho, I kept tracing the artwork, and then you will see in a few the finalized kind of version of it. I'm gonna make a part 2 for this because the engraving part is a whole different monster, and I didn't want this video to be too long. So then I went back to the toolbar, to the little wrench icon, and clicked share and exported it as a JPEG. It doesn't matter. Usually it would have to be a SVG if you're cutting something, but I exported it to my camera roll. And then after it's in my camera roll, I also shared it to my computer so I can start the process of engraving on my glowforge. But stay tuned for part 2. I will be sharing that with you. And yeah, we'll see how it turns out. Thank you for watching. Bye.